And now we do have the plane path is directly right between the, dissecting the map, and Team Revenge Esports already jumping out, hopefully going for Campo. This is a map that relies on long distance fights and skirmishes. So any bets on teams which will do really well, other than of course Orange Rock, which seems to be everyone's favorite?
I think Team Insane do have a lot of potential. They have some really good snipers and aimers, so I'm hoping that they would be one of the teams that show us what real fragging firepower looks like. Also, I think 7Cs might just find a chance to bounce back in this game because they seem to be heading towards La Cuberia, where they will be fighting Team ORB Elites right off the bat. So it's two of the teams who are currently at the bottom of the table who have opportunities to eliminate each other right off the bat. Meanwhile, Los Leones is surprisingly unpopulated. Miramar taking a safe approach and heading towards El Pozo. I don't think they'll be able to make it, but they can parachute glide their way towards that city. It's going to take a bit of time. Revenge taking the cars and still heading towards Campo Militar. Meanwhile, Orange Rock is surprisingly split apart, and they have quite a lot of distance between all their players. It seems like they want to capture vehicles first and then head over towards one of the places. The circle, though, it is leading heavily towards the south, and not a lot of teams are in the circle right now. So we will see San Martin and Junkyard become a graveyard of bodies as most of the teams come crashing into the northern edge of the circle. Ruin?
Yeah, whatever you said. I think you pretty much covered everything that needs to be said right here. We've got a lot of good teams in good positions right now. We've got Zero Degree, we've got Team Power, and we've got TeamGenocide all safely within the circle. I love this horse skin, by the way. This is such a beautiful skin. Yeah, and this is Team 16 for those of you who have been supporting Team Tamil and coming to our streams. This is the team that everybody's been clamoring for. Clearly a crowd favorite amongst the viewers. And then we've got GSL, the second place winners from the last game. Not too far away. If I'm not mistaken, this is Chumacera. Hopefully we'll get to see some action here.
Well, I had one question for you. Raven TT, TT stands for Team Tamil, but what's Raven? Is it their sponsor? Is it some organization that's backing them?
I think so. I think there is an org in Tamil Nadu called Raven Esports, and that must be the team esports org that's sort of backing them. And Team Tamilas is Tamilas for the Tamilians in the house. Yeah, that's the name of their team. So they've done it Raven TT. And yeah, let's hopefully see some good action from them. Yeah, moving up to the map, we've got a pretty spread out map right there. I mean, Revenge is going to have to rotate quite a bit from Campo, and slowly Orange Rock is making their way to the edge of the circle. How do you think this is going to play out, Crips?
Towards the edge of the circle, I think Orange Rock will once again go for the split approach, where they will have their players positioned like CCTVs, cameras all across the edge. I'm actually surprised none of the teams want to take control of San Martin right off the bat, which will turn into one of the hot zones because it's one of the only places where there is plenty of cover. Hacendia del Patron, nobody has taken control of it once again as two of the hottest territories. I think Daljit might be heading towards Hacendia anytime soon. But if we look at Los Leones, where the real meat of the action is, we have Zero Degree, Team FULLPWR, and Team Genocide in this same city. Now, Los Leones, the biggest city in Miramar, it's going to take a bit of time before these teams finally realize they're within spitting distance of each other. But once they do, that's when the real action begins. As we see on the side screen, Zero Degree are spread out quite a bit. And Power, it seems like from Power, Mogambo will be the first point of contact. Pan Singh in a vehicle is going to be loud and announcing his position up into the world. He might just be the spearhead of his team who will make first contact with Mogambo as they all move in towards the same warehouse. And the only way, the only perfect way actually to make up for it is by completely eliminating 0 Degrees, who are also one of the strongest teams in the mix. So if they can get rid of 0 Degrees right off the start, it seems like they're going to have themselves a pretty good time because they will have a lot of points and a major contender will now be out of the game. Meanwhile, I think 0 Degrees are heading towards the edges of Los Leones. They seem to be satisfied with the amount of loot they have, and they want to set up a gatekeep approach where they just stop every other team from either leaving the city or, in this case, entering the city, because Los Leones is smack in the center. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of teams go for early rotations and try to enter this place right now. The storm, it's a, exactly. Yeah, and speaking of betting the money, I would bet my money on Atanki. He has 2 med kits, which are incredibly rare to find, and pretty good control over the vehicles as well. I think, so here's the thing that I've noticed in all the games that I've casted, especially in maps like Miramar, having control of vehicles is equally important because once the circle does screw you over, you can't just go on foot. You need to have control of those vehicles, especially in open spaces. You need to build fortresses out of them. And that's why you will see a lot of teams take this approach of having all 4 players in different vehicles. And they have 4 vehicles. Even though you can't fight while you're in there, you might just be able to walk away from those fights and get yourself a little bit of advantage towards the later end of the game.
We do apologize. I just had a little mic skerfuffle and none of my audio was getting picked up, and it's back again. Thank you so much for the feedback. Yeah, speaking of which, UMEXRXN, I mean, the guys we have on screen right now, they haven't had the greatest couple of games. They've been consistently coming in the bottom 10 category. Like, what's happening with them?
Well, UMEXRXN is one of the most prestigious organizations in the country. If you didn't know that UMEXRXN already have a Dota 2 and a CSGO roster as well, you do now. And now that they venture into PUBG Mobile, they are enabling a few more youngsters to show off their talents by supporting them, which is really beneficial for the esports scene in the country as a whole. And if you just look at the bottom screen, John and Orange Rock, they have a nice little collection of red cars right there. It seems like they've parked them in a very aesthetic way as well, almost like they're salesmen and trying to sell those cars. I mean, the way they parked, it was so beautiful. It was perfect parking. I mean, a lot of people can learn from it.
Popping? Sorry. I'm just messing with you, Chris.
I know. You do that quite often.
Especially on live streams.
For my comfort.
All right, we've got Team Tamil.
We have history of those.
We've got Team Tamil here and TeamGenocide. Still haven't met each other in a proper firefight. Come on, guys, entertain us. What is this?
I think the entertainment's about to start now. DD threw that smoke, and that's going to be a dead giveaway about his position, but seems like Team Tamil don't want to engage just yet, as they're still in their cars and hunting for the guy who threw that smoke. They won't be finding him anytime, but they do find a couple of compounds that they can take care of. Obviously, towards the southern end of Miramar, the grass becomes more prominent and it's not that big of a desert. So there's more cover over here towards this side of the map as there is in the northern parts. And since the circle is also moving south, I guess the teams don't have to be that worried about getting caught in the open with nowhere to hide. I guess that's a little bit of relief.
Well, getting caught in the open in Miramar is never a good thing as well because this is Sniper Central right here. And this is a map where, unfortunately, we do not have the Winchester 8x PUBG PC thing going on. But at least in PUBG Mobile, you know, the snipers tend to rule Miramar, and Daljit is one of those snipers from Orange Rock that I would not want to mess with in Miramar. We did see him, in fact, perform quite beautifully in the PUBG Mobile All-Stars. Do you remember that?
Of course I do. How can you forget something like that? That guy was an absolute beast. And speaking of beast moments, did we just witness a drive-by?
Yeah, I think we did.
Players of Team 9 just drove past Team Insane, and Insane did not act at all. They did not even fire a single shot. They just let him pass. But while I say that, Mavi has clear line of sight onto Duke, and even though he's firing right now, he probably won't be able to connect any shots, but that doesn't really matter.
Mavi is Mavi, you know, Mavi, actually, I have to say, viewing, spectating, observing Mavi has been a treat these last couple of games.
Yes,
we've got an MK14, of course, in the drop zone, in the airdrop, and hopefully, like, some lucky team will get their hands on it. But yeah, I gotta say, Mavi is one of those players that I'm really enjoying watching. I'm not too familiar with his gameplay, to be frank, but in the last couple of matches, it's very clear. It's clear as day that he's one of those players that you definitely want to learn something from if you are eyeing those PMCO standings.
Speaking of eyeing the PMCO standings, keep your eyes on the circle as it shrinks towards the southwestern part. Puerto Rico, the only city, it's not even a city, it's like one very small village with a dockyard. It's the only thing in place. Luckily, this part of the map does have a lot of grass and a lot of trees as well, so you can play around it. And it also has the cliffs of the eastern side of Los Leones in the zone, so you can play around those as well. A lot of teams might just enter Los Leones and then try to, you know, make their way into the circle from there.
Sure.
And that's going to be a safe approach.
Right.
But speaking of safe, it's not something that Revenge are looking into, as they might just walk into Team Orange Rock, who have the high ground advantage on top of them.
Finally, we get to actually see some action. We get to see Daljit already getting that spray down on Akshay. What a beautiful spray down with his red dot SCAR-L situation going. He's also managed to get another knock and to try to get into the fight, and Daljit knocking, finishing great. Anto finishing Akshay. Oh my god, these observers are faster than I am. We've got Daljit trying to get better position on that last two players. Trilok getting sprayed down. Oh, it's not looking good for him as he jumps out, and Trilok is thirsted. Sonic, where are you, Sonic? As Sonic manages to skip away. We now are looking at 0 Degree entering the fray. Let's see how this pans out for them. We've got so many teams next to each other. Oh, I'm so sorry. Crips, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, Orange Rock are about to face 0 Degrees. This is going to be a clash of the Titans as the two top teams of the tournament are about to have a go at each other. Sonic, the last remaining member of Team Revenge, does manage to get a kill, but how much can he possibly do? He has to play for placement points over here. But if you look at the positions of Orange Rock, they are so far spread apart. Mavi is on a completely different hill, far away from his team, who have knocked one player down.
Oh, this is not looking good for Sonic.
And he desperately needs to get to cover. He finally finds a little dark spot where he should be able to heal up, but he's cornered over here. And there are other players also around him.
Okay, looks like Sonic is trying to get some kills in. He's not in a very good position. And Pansing knocking Daljit from Orange Rock. Oh my god. Anto finishing off Sonic. That's the end of Revenge Esports. We've got Surya knocking John, and then GSL in the midst getting a knock on a 7Cs player whose name I missed. Sorry. We've got 0 Degree, all 4 people right here. Try to get an angle on Orange Rock. They did manage to get Daljit, I believe, and it's just Mavi and Anto left. This is not a good loss for Orange Rock.
Definitely not. At one point, I thought Orange Rock will have an advantage because they were spread apart on 2 different hills, which means the valley in between those two, which is the only slope which is not that steep where you can drive. That's the only entrance towards those little two hills, and they have both covered, which means they should have had the advantage. But because of spreading apart, the same thing that should have given them the advantage ends up being the thing that does not work out for them.
We got the circle. Oh, we just missed it, unfortunately. Let's try to actually talk about the circle when our beautiful observers share us the circle. And here we go. Another gift from the PUBG gods, an MK14 and a couple of level 3 vests. JSL Glaive bites the dust and the play zone takes out Team ORB member Tsunami. It is Mavi and Anto versus the entire squad. And shots are being fired. Mavi trying to get an angle on the 0 degree players. Marcos Gaming. Let's see what Mavi does here. Come on, Mavi. We believe in you, Mavi. And the dude takes a chunk of health off, and oh my god, Mavi almost knocks him. The dude sort of surviving by the 1 HP that he was clinging onto. And now we have Team CELTZ. We have Team CELTZ and TeamELVES on the team here, on screen here. And let's hope that we see some action from here as well.
Speaking of action, this is the only close quarter fights that we have seen so far. Everything else was just a flurry of sniper fights with multiple teams trying to get angles on each other and hoping that they get away with getting shot. CELTZ, they also have sight on Team FULLPWR, and ELVES, they finally decide to strike. Red getting peppered with bullets, and Poto also trying to land a couple. But CELTZ do not want to take any part of this. They are just backing away from this fight. And they blew up a car. That means one of the players is on foot. He needs to get picked up by MJ, who is desperately low on health. Their car also about to blow up. That means their escape routes are getting shut down one by one.
What did the cars ever do to you guys, man? Come on. Leave the cars alone. We've got TeamELVES and Team CELTZ trying to square off with each other, and Team God damn it. What are their names again, Crips? TGE?
Genocide?
Genocide, there we go. There we go. We've got Team Genocide and Team RIP and Team UMAMBA all within shooting distance of each other. I don't know. I'm not really sure what Noob's trying to do here as he slowly makes his way towards UMAMBA. And meanwhile, we have Team Tamil.
I think Team Tamil are the only ones who have some sort of a safe spot, and they're just observing all the fights before they decide to engage in the ones they actually need to get into. Meanwhile, speaking of getting into fights, Genocide are really far spread apart. They can surround their opponents from every direction, but CELTZ need to be careful because they might have just bitten off more than they could chew. They're in the middle of so many teams, and now finally we have the circle. It seems like we won't be repeating the mistake and talk about it for once.
Yeah, we've got a pretty good circle. Everybody's in the safe zone. And the circle just about screwed everybody except for Team 18 Initiative and Team Insane. Looks like 0 degree is smart. Marcos Gaming pushing into the safe zone. The dude. And unfortunately, Pan Singh and not able to find the other guy's name. Just chilling back. I'm not really sure what they're trying to do here. I guess they're trying to finish Orange Rock.
Well, I'm not sure about Orange Rock, but we did see 2 different fights between 3 teams each. So on one end, we have CELTZ, ELVES, and Team Tamil, who just decided to engage. Atanki spotted Matt going ahead in his car, but couldn't connect the bullets. Matt is leaving Avi behind so that he can act as bait. And while I say that, Ash Gamer runs out of bullets, he will be knocked out by a score. I forgot his name. Rapsor, that's how you pronounce it? These are really weird to pronounce.
Will you guys pick easy names for us to cast over, please? Alright, we've got Team Genocide, Noob, unfortunately last man standing, and Team L still pretty much in the fight, all 4 players. Team CELTZ also rotating, taking the dangerous blue zone and rotating out. And there we go. Let's look at Marcos Gaming. All 4 alive. Just pushing Team Tamil. They spray down Striker. They toss him. They're like not letting Team Tamil get out of this situation. It's up to Carry OP to bring Team Tamil back into the fray. We've got Rip Squad and UMAMBA also in a fight with each other. Somebody needs to help Destro. Oh, nope, never mind. Rip Squad needs Destro. And this is not looking good for Rahul as he gets knocked by a vehicle and then gets thirsted by Bhishma. Bhimsha, sorry. We're just butchering all your names left, right, and center. We're so sorry, Crips.
I mean, at least that's better than these teams butchering each other as they desperately try to cling for dear life. Umumba have one little cliff that they can take cover of, but they have Rip Squad on one side and 0 Degree on the other. Luckily for them, 0 Degree is already busy engaging other teams, so they can continue focusing on Rip Squad, who are outside the play zone, and they need they need to cover the distance, which is quite long.
They need to go the distance, Michael Bolton. The Hercules theme song. Never mind. You're too old. You're too young to get that.
I don't.
Never
References
mind.
which I don't understand, but what I do understand for sure over here is that Insane have to take care of Team IE right the hell now. Otherwise, they will be left in a very awkward situation. At the southern edge of the circle has multiple teams fighting for cover. Elves are surprisingly in the safe because Umumba and Team Tamilas are the ones who are fighting each other now. 0 Degree also trying to get a piece of the action. They're trying to get kills as much as they can, but they don't have to worry about much right now. The circle shifts and AIM is the one who has a lot of advantage. But as soon as I say that, Insane knocks Aditya out. The smokes should be enough to allow him to revive his teammates, but how long can he stay in there? Only 30 seconds left and they have a long distance to cover. All the teams need to move right now.
Yeah, and it looks like TeamELVES is just chilling outside the circle and they're just healing up. Team 18 Initiative really needs to do something about their position, and I really appreciate how Marcos Gaming 0 Degree is just positioning themselves in the circle. They only have to worry about a lone Tamil Gaming player. Aditya getting a nade on Insane's team legend. Team 18 setting up cover with their vehicles all blown up. All they have to do is pick a couple of angles. What a shot right there. Oh my god. Team 18 Initiative taking the initiative, spraying down Team Insane players left, right, and center. And I believe that's Team Insane knocked out of the game.
Yeah, and while all that was happening, AIM also managed to steal a couple of kills. That is so smart. Team AIM is on the complete other end of the circle, which means they don't have to worry about anything, but they still managed to get some kills. Dux, he's trying to land the players from Team IE and of TeamELVES as well. So 0 Degrees, having all 4 of the players alive, have created a little cover for themselves up on the edges of those cliffs. Meanwhile, Elves have Matt once again playing as a flanker who's trying to get as many kills as he can, but he gets knocked out by Pansing. Their only hope is now down. Elves are in a lot of trouble as multiple teams are firing upon them. They have created a little fortress of broken down cars and smokes, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Finally, Fury from Team IE steps into the action as he does manage to get a knock onto one of the 0 Degrees players. So that's going to allow Elves also to have some time as IE are actually saving them right now, which isn't supposed to happen. This is chaos all over the place.
0 Degree.
One more knock onto 0 Degree. They are taking so much damage. At one point, 0 Degree were the ones who had all 4 players alive, and now they are taking knocks, which is dangerous. Even though they have the high ground, it's not supposed to happen. AIM engaging in long distance battles along with Team IE are not coming out on top as Aditya lands a nice headshot. Manages to knock one more down, and this will allow him to buy some time so that he can get into the play zone. It is coming right behind them, and they need to race against the blue and into the hailstorm of bullets that lies ahead of them. They're using the smokes as cover, but it won't allow them as Fury fights the dust. Elves manage to strike back once again, and they get one more. They finish off Aditya as well. This is haywire. It's going left, right, and center as 0 Degree engage in a 3-way battle along with Team IE and Elves. What is even going on? Who will come out on top? We have no idea because a barrage of smokes are covering a line of sight. Lucifer does manage to get one more from Pansing, but is that all he's going to be able to get? He's prone, and that's going to be the end of it. Team IE just lost one more player. Else taking one more. What? How did Ip Man manage to do that? Even Ducky comes into the fray. All of a sudden, AIMGAMING are third-partying this fight, and they have plenty of cover as well with those trees. 0 Degrees using the smoke, and it's not gonna matter because AIM have exactly all the information they need to win this fight. Elves are somehow holding on. I'm actually surprised how they managed to stay alive. How is this happening, Rohin?
I have no idea what's happening. It's just been a hail of bullets left, right, and center. I gotta say, 0 Degree is in a very good position. Ipman getting some shots in, really doing some damage to 0 Degree as Team Elves needs to figure out how to get into the circle and stay alive. I really love the fact that AIM Gaming is making sure that they're using that vehicle as cover as they res Ducky, I believe. Ipman going for Ducky, and in the smokes we have 0 Degree pushing in. It's going to be an interesting fight right now with Team Elves and 0 Degree and AIM Gaming trying to get the best of each other. Ipman just throwing nades willy-nilly. We've got the dude cooking his nade. Hopefully, can he get this grenade kill? The nade flies and unfortunately doesn't get him the knock that he needs. 0 Degree playing very, very smart. It's up to Surya and the dude. Oh, and I just jinxed it. AIM Rocky just knocking out the dude, trying to thirst him. This is not looking good for 0 Degree as they're closer to third place, and Rocky puts him in the dust. Surya trying to heal off, but he does not. He does not. And 0 Degree is out of the game. It is now AIM Gaming versus Team Elves. 2v3. Here we go. The position for first place. We've not seen both these teams in final circles. Oh, I'm so sorry. We did see AIM Gaming. And now we've got Sniper versus Ipman. Ipman going for the wrong routine and gets knocked. That is horrible. Ducky trying to get the trade. Gets Snipper, but unfortunately, AIM Gaming does not make it. It is Team Elves first place, AIM Gaming second place, and third place goes to 0 Degree. What a match.